Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the story of Hisham bin Al-As radiyallahu ta'ala an. Al-As bin Wa'il is one of the greatest enemies of Islam and of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He had two sons, Amr bin As and Hisham bin Al-As. Amr bin As radiyallahu ta'ala an was a very famous Sahabi that done a lot of work for Islam. But his younger brother Hisham radiyallahu ta'ala an accepted Islam in the early times of Mecca. So he was tortured by his own father for accepting Islam. His own father tortured him, kept him until he escaped and migrated to Abyssinia when the Muslims went to Abyssinia. He stayed in Abyssinia for quite a while. While Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated from Mecca to Medina, he decided to migrate towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But his father has just died and he went back to Mecca to try and see him and to try and see his grave. His tribesmen of the Banu Saham captured him and imprisoned him in an improvised jail. They also tortured him for him accepting Islam and believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They made this abandoned house his jail, and they tortured him day after day after day. And this went on for about 5 years. So 5 years of torture without letting go of Tawheed and the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Hisham bin Al-As. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, while in Medina after the battle of Uhud, going on towards the battle of Khandaq, he makes an i'lan, an announcement in Medina, and says, who of you will volunteer to try and capture and try and make Hisham bin Al-As escape from his dungeon, escape from his jail, and bring him back to us? So Waleed bin Waleed, the brother of Khalid bin Waleed, before Khalid bin Waleed has accepted Islam, his brother Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala an says, yes, I will take this daring raid, go all the way behind enemy lines, stake out the place, get our brother of Islam and bring him back to us. So Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala an goes. He goes into Mecca. He has to find out where the actual abandoned house is, the prison is. He stakes out, he investigates, he sees women going into a house a few times a day, and now he realizes that this is the house. While staking it out, while trying to make a plan, he eventually finds the correct time. He waits for the women to go out at that time. When the woman is away, he sneaks inside of the house, jumps over the walls, and then takes Hisham, breaks his chains, and then they escape back towards Medina, helping his brother of Islam to escape free from the hands and the clutches of the enemies at that time. Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala an was the one that took this daring raid on voluntarily and was successful. Hisham radiyallahu ta'ala an and his brother Amr bin As, who has not accepted Islam at this moment, it is known by both of them, and they were asked at the moment of the battle of Yarmouk that who is better out of you two, Amr bin As and Hisham bin As, who is better out of you two? Both of them made dua on the night before the battle of Yarmouk for shahada, martyrdom and meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yet Hisham bin Al-As radiyallahu ta'ala an, his dua was accepted and my dua wasn't accepted at that time. This is the level of Hisham bin Al-As. He is a shaheed, he is a martyr of Islam, and he was captured and tortured for many years by the enemies, but never ever gave in towards their tortures, towards their protests, and towards their injustice given upon him. He held firm upon his iman, and eventually Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala saved him and took him back to Medina to safety.